Captain Barbossa, I am here to negotiate the cessation.
You had it?
Cessation, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I do Keira Knightley?
Yeah, I think you're right on it, honestly.
Okay. Captain Barbossa, I'm here to negotiate the cessation of hostilities against Port Royal. Okay, hold on, I gotta get it right.
Okay.
I gotta get it right. Captain Barbossa, I'm here to negotiate the cessation.
We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this. I haven't even tried my Barbossa yet, so just waiting for it.
Captain Barbossa, I am here to negotiate the cessation of hostilities against Port Royal.
There are a lot of long words in there, miss. We're not but humble pirates. What is it that you want?
I want you to leave and never come back.
I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. Means no.
Let's go! It's very good.
This, I don't, like, there's what, I don't know, like 20 minutes before this moment in this movie?
Sure.
This is when I knew we were locked the fuck in for Pirates of the Caribbean. I haven't watched this movie in a few years.
Okay.
But I have said for so long, since this came out, this is my favorite live action Disney movie, and it remains with a bullet. Like, it's not a debate. There's no 1A. There's like a silver medal out there. I haven't really thought about it, but this is the gold medal by far.
Yeah, like I actually don't think I could think of a. Let's name another live action Disney movie that's not a remake of a cartoon or something.
Oh, that's not a remake. I was gonna say I really like the David Lowery Pete's Dragon, the live action one with Bryce Dallas Howard. I really like that. I haven't seen it.
I didn't know they remade it.
Other live action Disney movies. Let me Google them because, like,
I'm not doing good pulling it right now. I'm telling you.
No, I'm really not either. Live action Disney movies. Okay. Tomorrowland, meh. Mm-hmm. I wanted it to be good because I love Brad Bird and the cast is great. Let's see what else.
I'm just wondering if this is like a high bar in general.
You know what? I will say the Lone Ranger isn't good. The first 25 minutes, basically until he like dies and becomes the Lone Ranger, is a banger of a movie.
I know nothing. I've never heard of it before.
It's Gore Verbinski. It's Johnny Depp. They definitely were like, hey, you did Pirates. Do this for Lone Ranger. And there's like way too much in it. But I think it's a little bit overhated. But that first 15, 20 minutes, basically until he dies, is like, it's a really good Western movie, and then it just like kind of derails into ridiculousness and
got it.
Way too big a budget.
Is Into the Woods Disney? I feel like it is, right?
I think so.
Johnny Depp's also in there. Because this is what I'm learning about Disney is like that once they got your hooks in you, like Alan Tudyk has done 10 characters for Pixar, and Johnny Depp's worked with them now a bunch. Like, I will say this, and I want to get this out of the way right off the bat. What I said when we were jumping into the series, which, by the way, hello, welcome to Podcast of the Rings. Ben and I are going into fellowship videos, movies, and not videos, but the next series is enjoying other films members of Peter Jackson's Fellowship have done.
Yes, the best non-Lord of the Rings movies, because I think, honestly, for all of these actors, and we'll get into Viggo Mortensen and Ian McKellen, probably are the only two that might have an argument that these aren't their best movies.
Oh.
But honestly, Orlando Bloom, we're talking about Orlando Bloom in Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. This is up there.
He's delightful in this.
He is so good in it. I forgot how good he was because Johnny Depp,
takes over. He eats it.
And Disney recognized it. It's kind of like the Finding Dory thing where they're like, oh, Dory is the thing in this movie. Let's make her the main character. And it doesn't work when they're the main character. You need Johnny Depp to just come in, do his Jack Sparrow stuff while you've got Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom moving the plot along. But like Jeffrey Rush is just throwing 105 fastballs down the middle. Like, the makeup and the costuming, I think there's one, I don't know if we're going to go through the whole plot of the movie, but there's one shot that I think is a green screen. I'm sure there's green screen, there's digital effects, like it's so funny.
But it's good otherwise.
Yeah, like people are being like, oh, there was no I didn't go see Furiosa because it looked like there was CGI. There was no CGI in Fury Road. I was just like, are you fucking joking? You actually think all of Fury Road was like real? I hate this world. But so I'm sure there's plenty of digital effects all over this movie, but a lot of it, they're in the Caribbean. Like they are shooting on water. They're on real ships. And there's one shot. It's where Johnny Depp hands Keira Knightley the rum bottle, and you see her like do the math of like, hey, let me light the rum on fire. Like, it's that one shot because it goes from like, oh, you spent all day drinking rum until you got rescued. He goes, welcome to the Caribbean, and he hands her a rum bottle. That looks like it's in a studio. That looks like a reshoot. They're like, oh, we didn't get a good coverage on you formulating the rum plan. Let's do this real quick. And they put her, you could see like her makeup's different. Her hair is different.
Oh, I didn't even catch
next time you guys watch this, just watch this one scene because it's always stuck out to me. And especially in this age of, you know, the volume and green screen. And I love it, but it's overused a bit.
Sure.
It looks like a volume shot. That looks like, I know the volume wasn't invented.
No, but
like that looks like a studio shot where everything else, like that whole time, it looks like they're on that island. I don't know where they found this island. I think Johnny Depp.
I think they burned it.
Yeah.
I bet you Disney owns that island.
I mean, didn't Johnny Depp buy an island with all his Pirates of the Caribbean money or something like that?
That makes sense. It might have been that island too.
It might have been. He's like, you know what? I'll just take it. Like, actually burn a little bit more. Bring the value down real quick.
I'll put the house there.
Yeah. But yeah, just like this movie is just a banger, and I forgot. And Disney has been trying to chase this lightning in a bottle. I saw it with Jungle Cruise. You saw it with Lone Ranger. You saw it with the sequels of this movie. There's 4 of them now. It's crazy.
Wild.
But yeah. Was this your first time watching it? How you seen it?
I said that I hadn't seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
And every scene I'm like, oh, I kind of remember that. Oh, I kind of remember that. And it wasn't until the dinner scene with her and Jeffrey Rush that I'm like, oh my God, I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
Which doesn't bode well, I think, that it was that immemorable or unmemorable. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
I never know with you in movies, though, because like how, like, you know, I was listening to our last episode where you're just like, I don't care. I don't care what's in theaters right now. I was like, does Jessica like movies? Like, I don't need you to be a cinephile or anything. This isn't film Twitter.
Totally.
Because I listen to a bunch of movie podcasts. I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys have seen everything. Like I'm playing catch up with so much of my life with everything that I've missed. But I just like, this one stuck out to me. There are plenty of movies that I've seen that I don't remember, but this one is just burned into my memory.
I did this also with Tropic Thunder. I was like, oh, I've never seen Tropic Thunder. I should watch it. And then first scene, I think I've seen that. Second scene, oh, I'm pretty sure I saw that. Halfway through, I'm like, dude, I've seen this movie. So there's a part of my life that's missing that I'm. Because Tropic Thunder now is up there as top 10, top 20. You know what I mean?
Yo, so good.
And I think I'm a victim of 2 things when it comes to movies in general. Time, right? Like there's so many movies and 100 years of movies backdating that like I just can't. And because people care so much about movies, I just like throw my hands up. I don't have the time to become uber familiar and become part of the conversation that everyone's having. Like, and like my attention span is low. It just is. Like,
I feel that. I really do. I'm starting to get that. Like, I need to just delete social media for like a month or so.
It's a good palate cleanser, I will say.
Where it's like I'm just constantly checking my phone. I like, you know, it's bad when I'm on like the Twitter For You page. I'm just like, stop. It's just like if I'm on that, like I need an intervention basically.
And
where
Twitter,
I'm just like, I can't scroll through TikTok too much at the gym. Like I don't follow that many people on my feed of Twitter, so there's not any updates. Let me go to the For You. It's like, no, Ben, like just put your phone down for a little bit. So no, I totally get it because I watch so many things right here now. Because, you know, like I was watching The Acolyte last night, the new Star Wars Disney Plus show, and I found myself like starting to scroll a little bit. It's like, no, like this is a 30-minute show. Focus.
Wow, can't you just focus on that?
Yeah.
I totally get it. So I just think that like I also made a choice a few years ago that like what will I enjoy? What do I want to spend my time? And right now it's TV shows or video games. So a lot of my time goes into that. And I do have an easier time playing a video game during a TV show I've watched. I have a harder time playing a video game. I don't know, just like the movies. I'll watch them in chunks though sometimes.
Okay.
If it's a movie that really interests me, like that Natalie Portman movie and Julianne Moore movie. I watched it in chunks. It was about like a woman who had an affair with her student, and Natalie Portman comes to visit them because she's playing her in a movie.
Okay.
And I was really interested in it. And I watched it, but in chunks. And maybe it's not the best way to watch a movie, but that's how I'll usually do it. I do want to say, though, have you seen that Lord of the Rings was back in theaters over the weekend?
I missed it. I did, like, because I was doing
should have mentioned it.
fandom. No, I knew it was coming.
Oh,
I just,
you were
like,
busy.
Like, I didn't, Bad Boys came out this last weekend. Inside Out 2's coming out. Like, everything is just happening, and I'm just, like, behind right now with everything in theaters. Like, I'm gonna miss, I feel like, we talked about The Fall Guy already being out of theaters and on VOD. I feel like it's gonna happen with Furiosa, where, like, that's a movie. Fall Guy I saw in theaters because, like, it matched up with my schedule. I was like, oh, this looks fun.
Sure,
but I wouldn't have minded. It's like, I'm gonna watch Challengers at home. And I've talked plenty of, it's the Zendaya tennis movie.
Is it not out yet?
It's on VOD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna watch that here. And again, I've talked about.
Is that just a sex movie? I'm
I
sorry
don't know. I think it's a horny movie.
Okay. Because like she stops being a tennis player midway through, right? And then
I don't know.
Because she apparently the whole plot is she hurts her. And she gets hurt. She can't play anymore. Now it's the match between these two guys.
Hey, you know what? You always need a plan B. She might need a few of my, if you know what I'm saying.
Found the subtitle for this episode.
Right.
Yeah, but let's just put it this way. We saw. The reason I bring it up is we did watch Fellowship in the movie theater. It was the extended version. It's long, but it's very good. Like,
but that's the thing is that like when to go pee.
100%. And you know, I think did I go only pee once? And Alex even looked up like, you know what? Let me just look up to make sure I go pee at the right time. Like, and I could go pee during the felling of the trees and the orking board. I've seen it. You know what I mean?
The
like
borking?
The orcs being mourned.
The orcs being borked?
The orky. I did show Alex recently Muppets Made in Manhattan or Muppets in Manhattan.
Take Manhattan. Muppets Made in Manhattan. You know what? I will say, I'd watch that, and everyone is saying because like the new Rian Johnson Knives Out cast is being announced, and everyone is saying, leave Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc and have the Muppets. Like a Muppet murder mystery with Benoit Blanc, $1 billion.
And it would help because the Muppets are like falling off, right? Like this new generation really hasn't gotten the thing that brings the Muppets back into.
Yeah, I like that Jason Segel movie. I didn't see the second one.
But that was our generation. That was for millennials.
That was 2011.
Was it? Do you think the kids went to go see that though?
I don't know if they went to go see it, but it's on Disney Plus, so like that would be because like I think the first Muppet movie is something. It's like the Muppets are. It's always up to parents to show kids stuff because I don't think they're going to discover it on their own.
Absolutely.
But I think that first Muppets movie like transcends time and space. I think it's for all generations.
Which first? The Jason Segel one?
No. Like the very first one where he's like riding a bicycle and like playing in the swamp and stuff.
I've never seen it.
Life-changing, Jessica.
I know. Is that the one where he's singing the song and everyone
Rainbow
loves it?
Connection? Yep.
Maybe I have. You know what I did watch though? There was like the Princess and the Frog, and like Kermit narrates it, and then the frog like. Did you ever watch that with the big orange? Mm-mm. There's some Disney movies that I remember from the 70s, even though I was like that would replay at weird times, so that is burned into my mind. But anyway, I love the Knives Out Muppets only. It's such a great idea.
And you know what they did? They did Muppet Treasure Island, which is like Pirates of the
Caribbean. I was going to go there. You saw the wheels were turning.
The wheels were turning.
let's put it this way. I was watching it understanding that you think this is goated, right?
Goated with the sauce, as kids say. The sauce.
On God.
On God. Sigma Riz.
It's a very fun movie, and it's well done, and I find very few flaws with it. And it's pretty iconic. And I love the nods to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. They're very fun.
So the dog with the keys, oh my gosh, like
it's perfect. And then the chasing the ladies in the town.
Yep.
And there is like a little kind of real sense of danger. There is a little bit of like
there's
death.
Some violence when the pirates take over the ship at the end, that final battle, and people are getting like the dude that rings, who is it? Where it's one of the British soldiers just gets like stab, and you hear it over and over and over again.
It's like, calm down, this is Disney.
No, like they are not pulling any punches in this movie, and it makes it so good.
Even when Sparrow hits on what's her face, it's good because like, yeah, he would hit on her if they were deserted on an island. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
he is a pirate. He's a scallywag.
So are we to really believe that he's not drunk all the time? He's just like sunbaked?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's like they go into it more in, the sequels and stuff.
Okay.
Where it's just like, there's like a moment in the third one where it's like, when you're falling out of a plane or, when you get in a car accident and you're like loose, you're supposed to,
you
it's
pass
impossible.
out. No, you pass out so that your body doesn't hurt.
So like you don't tense up and your bones don't break. It's like that. It's like Jack Sparrow is always loose. So he just like, there's a line in the third one where he's about to do, some crazy slingshot boomerang move. And someone goes, "You're mad." He's like, "Yeah, because if I wasn't, this probably wouldn't work." And it's that like he just has that it factor. He's got the it factor that everybody wants, and he's just that good.
Yeah, and he is as good of a pirate as the guy says he is, right? Because
I noticed that where that guy disappears. This guy that says that's the best pirate I've ever seen.
Never
he's
seen
like,
him again.
He's like Galadriel's brother, because they bring back the other guy. They bring back you'll never get it out of the port. Like they bring back the snooty guy because he's on the final ship where he's like, "Oh, right. A mermaid flopped on deck and told him." It's like, why are you here? Where's the other guy with the crazy jawline that just delivers? That guy belongs in Bridgerton, where he's just like, "I do say that's the best pirate I've ever seen." Excuse me, sir. Stop trying to take my pants off with your one line of dialogue.
He does, though, successfully.
He does. It's crazy. I don't know. That guy has to have some deleted scenes because he's got it, man.
Or maybe he had a Me Too moment and they had to like reduce his role like they did.
Something happened behind the scenes. Like he like got in a fight with Johnny Depp behind the cameras or something like that.
I really forget. I try, especially as coming from an actor perspective, I try to remind myself like someone auditioned for that one line.
Yeah,
like. Everyone that
hundreds of people auditioned for that one line.
Right. Just
and
to
then
be
so many people that didn't get it like became extras or something like
maybe like it's like what's her name? Zoe Zaldana.
Crazy.
What the hell? What out of nowhere? Also,
I forgot.
Gratuitously underused. Complete like they have no idea who she is.
No.
If you cast this today, you don't cast Kira, you cast her.
Think so?
I think so. I think you do.
Yeah, like, I don't know, because like we are in the Caribbean, but she is like a British royal, and so I think
which makes sense. But I'm just saying, like, I'd love to watch Zoe tear it up, and I would probably go, I don't care. Zoe's going to be the lead. Like, forget it. Does it make sense?
I always forget, like, until they get to Tortuga, I was like, oh yeah, Zoe Saldana's coming up. Like
in it. She's in it. Is she in any of the other movies?
No, she's just in this one.
She's too busy, I'm sure. She's like just
because I think so. What was it right after this?
So even though she's not in all of these movies, she's in yet another major trilogy, right? Because
I think right after this, it's not right after because this is what, like 2001? So this, let's see, what else does she have going on? All right, so Pirates of the Caribbean 2003. Right after this is The Terminal. So she does a Spielberg movie after this. And then kind of is working, but nothing crazy, basically until Star Trek. She has Star Trek and Avatar the same year.
But she was working on Avatar for some time.
That's the thing,
too.
like, you know, like she had other stuff, but it looks like, so Avatar is like at least 3 years, and then after Avatar and Star Trek same year is just to the moon.
Yeah, she is the biggest star without like insane celebrity, right? Like we don't gossip about her, we don't shit talk her like we do Scarlett. But she is got to be one of the most successful stars out there with a private life.
Yeah, I can't remember what year Oscar it was, but it was like her and The Rock came on stage, and it was like two of the highest grossing actors, and it was her and The Rock.
Yeah, no, I believe it. But like, you just think about how little drama surrounds that woman, and it's so great.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of love that for her. So when we're thinking about like this in terms of our fellowship, right? We've got Orlando. By the way, I should just say this. I love Keira Knightley. I really do. I think she's excellent.
No, she's great in this movie.
And she's great in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love her version of Pride and Prejudice. So like she also just has a special place in my heart because she's my Elizabeth Bennet.
She is like one of those actors that like it's hard to cast her in modern day stuff. She was made to play, I feel like she was born to play like Regency era things.
She certainly fits really well into it.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, then she does have like this class. I mean, she's great in for I don't know if great's the right word in Love Actually. She's beautiful and what?
I hate that movie
of
with
course.
a passion.
Of course, most people do. I have nostalgia love for it. If that helps.
That's one of those movies that I missed when it was coming out. So like when everyone, 10 years later was, Christmas movie watch it. I was like, it's
trash.
Awful.
It's trash. It's trash. Now go back or don't watch that, but watch this director's movie about time. He makes So Ben is.
Don't get
for
me
those
started.
Who just listen, I know it's.
Don't get me
We could
started.
cry just talking about it. Let's just cry now and get it over with.
Like,
he makes all Love Actually so that the studios would let him make that movie.
What a film!
So if we need Love Actually
as Martin Scorsese would say,
what a picture! If we have to suffer through Love Actually to get to About Time, it's worth it.
Fair, absolutely fair.
So Orlando just, I think, solidifies himself as not just another pretty face. Because he's actually acting really wonderfully in this.
And what a year, this same year. I know, like, he's well done and wrapped with, Lord of the Rings by this time because they were all shot at the same time. But, like, 2003, this and Return of the King, like, coming out in the same year. Like,
slay.
Stupid.
Wow.
Stupid. What was the release date? This had to be a summer blockbuster.
Because I think it was like jarring.
Yeah, July 9th.
Mm-hmm. It was jarring to like not see him as a blondie. So Alex and I did start Game of Thrones because I need my fix. And for those of you that don't know, if you're part of our Patreon, you get exclusive access to our House of the Dragons podcast, which in hindsight, I'm realizing we should have called it Podcast of the Dragons. And then done the Game of Thrones one as Podcast of Thrones. And
we can always rebrand.
Or is it good that it's bad? Because House of the Podcast is bad. But is it bad good? You guys tell us. So I'm just like craving it. And it's hard to see Emilia Clarke as not a blonde until you see her in real life. She really does look like a Targaryen. But like, now that I know Orlando and I have like more perspective, he's such a good brunette. And he's so good at this. It's a really natural next step from, and you know what I'm going to say too? It makes me sad that he's not a bigger star doing more work now.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like, it's almost like the Keira Knightley thing where they're good in like these very specific things.
Right.
Like it's true for a lot of actors where they need the right director, they need They need to find that niche where because when they're good, and then when they're not, they're just not, and it's really unfortunate.
Is he not good in some other things?
What is it like? Is it Elizabethtown that I watched that he's not very good in?
But is he trying to do an American accent in that? Because that's rough. Are you looking at Penguin?
Yeah, I got new sheets last week, and she is going absolutely crazy about it.
She doesn't like it, or she does like it?
She's just like grabbing them and like playing with them, like totally having zoomies right now. But just like, not that he's terrible in anything, but just
the charm factor isn't the same.
The charm factor just isn't there, so much so that, when he does Troy, and he's Paris, and he's like this sniveling little weasel of like, oh, I love Helen, but I can't fight my own fights. And it's like, wow, you have spent the last 4 movies, whether, Will Turner's still learning, but Will Turner's a badass. Like, he's fighting 3 pirates at once, I love the line where he's like, in a fair fight, I'd kill you. It's like, well, that's not really reason for me to fight fair then, is it? Like, it's so perfect. Like, but, and then, Legolas goes without saying, and then he goes to Paris, and it's like, oh, wow, you can play this too. This is so good. And it says a lot about him as an actor that he would take that role as well.
Sure. But that's the problem, though, because that's not how we see him, we see him as someone capable but sweet, right? So we don't want to see him as someone who isn't capable and is also kind of a jerk. Like, casting is everything, and movies are successful when the actor is playing what sort of brand and type we see them play. Yeah. Let me use this as an example.
Okay.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
I was thinking about this for some reason today, apropos of nothing. He is the guy who thinks he knows better and is given a superpower or given something, and then like has to learn a moral lesson, and then he becomes nicer. Let's think about like Liar Liar, right? Mm-hmm. He's like too capable and then gets knocked down a peg and is humbled, and we like it when he's humbled. He's humbled in Bruce Almighty. Mm-hmm. Right? He gets this superpower. Even in Truman Show, he's the star, but needs to become free of that. But then you put him in Cable Guy, where he's a psychopath with no redeeming factors. It doesn't do well. Yeah. Right? It's because it's not the way we like to see him. So if you're putting in Orlando as this like sniveling little brat or whatever, entitled, that's really not like his branding that's accurate. So it could make sense. Maybe he wanted to probably stretch himself as an actor, but it didn't work for him because we don't want to see him like that.
I understand what you're saying. I think the movie, like, Troy's not a great movie. It's a very fun movie, but it's not like on the this level, Pirates or Lord of the Rings level. But I think he does well in it. He plays his part well. But it is like, I think he did have trouble, and a lot of actors have trouble, after huge franchise successes of not being, hey, that's Orlando Bloom. Like, and that's the thing, is that Star Trek especially, actually. Yeah, and like, I don't think you're getting too much when you cast Orlando Bloom. Like, you're getting, and that's like, you could say that about a lot. Keanu, Tom Cruise, even actors like Denzel, who he can still open a movie. Denzel is tier 1, right? Like, border in the conversation of greatest of all time. But you know what you're getting when you get Denzel. That's right. You're getting Denzel, and that's great. But you can get Roman J. Israel Esquire, or you can get Malcolm X, or you can get, the cop from Training. I can't think of his name. Sure. So, but like, you're going to get Denzel, and there's just not a lot when you don't have the charisma or like the chops that Denzel has. You get Orlando Bloom, where it's not bad, but his charisma's riding on it. Like, so this is what my actual opinion of Johnny Depp is too. I feel like he's really good at directing his charisma to do the job for him rather than be a good actor. He's kind of got the Nick Cage factor, where sometimes Nick Cage is bad, but sometimes Nick Cage is wonderful. And it just depends on how he's applying his charisma, genuinely. Yeah. And I do think Johnny Depp's in the pocket here with Jack Sparrow. it's just like wild how good he is in this movie.
But like, here's the thing.
He was nominated, wasn't he?
I actually have no idea, but I wouldn't be surprised because it's fantastic. His performance is fantastic.
Yeah.
You could write it off as one note, but it's not. There's a lot of layers, and there's times where he could. This what I realized when I was watching this. There's times where he could steal the scene, and he doesn't.
No,
he lets the movie be. And I really like that. And that's probably good directing, and it's probably just like how it's written, but he just like sometimes throws the line away and it's the right call because it's just enough, right? But the thing I'm going to push back on with, or maybe not push back on, but just like Orlando's a trained Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts actor. So where is the chops? Are they on stage, or is he just not allowed to be the amazing actor, or is he just worried about being a pretty boy? What is it?
I think it's a little bit of both, where when you get Legolas and then Will Turner and then you get put in Troy and Kingdom of Heaven, like you get kind of pigeonholed into, okay, this guy, swords and sandals, fantasy, swashbuckling, that's what he does.
Did you just say swashbuckling, which I'm in?
Swashbuckling.
Swashbuckling. I knew that was swashbuckling is funny.
Swashbuckling, yes. But like he got pigeonholed because of the projects that he was offered and the projects that he took. And I don't think he made any mistakes. Like, I mean, they're all different levels of success, but even, like Troy or Kingdom of Heaven, like, which aren't as successful as these, obviously.
Right.
Ridley Scott, Edward Norton, Jeremy Irons, Brad Pitt, like the cast and crew of these movies, like who wouldn't take this?
Right.
Like,
absolutely.
This is a meat pitch down the middle in a home run derby, and sometimes they just hit a line drive double instead, and
is it baseball season? Is that why this is your second? Reference to baseball.
It's baseball. Yeah. We're like the Celtics are up 2-0 against the Mavericks. Who knows if they come back? Summer's the worst. Like we have the Olympics this year, which I'm very, very excited about.
Yeah.
But summer is the worst for sports. I
am a
baseball.
Gymnast fan, and I am a beach volleyball fan, and I do love me some Olympics. Last year, during the pandemic, when we were watching the Olympics, it was
so great.
It was great. I paid for live TV. I was very happy about it.
Like America has plenty of problems, but you know who can say that? Americans. Can't say it. Any of you non-Americans, all right? What's a kilometer, baby?
Join us on this is our continuing descent into right-wing Ben. He's really paving
pro-patriot podcasts, okay?
Oh, Jesus. No, I do actually love baseball. I played softball, and I'm one of those people that can like sit in the outfield and really enjoy a game because you have to be an active participant in a baseball game rather than just watching a basketball game. Does that make sense? Like you have to go, oh, watch this person do this, and like otherwise it will be a boring sports game for you.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I love baseball.
I will watch baseball playoffs because when bottom of the ninth, man. Like I'll never forget, when the Cubs won their last World Series, like in 2016 or something. Amazing stuff. I was glued to the TV, and I wasn't a fan of I'm not an Indians or Cubs fan, but it was like one of these teams is going to break the curse. But just like
I didn't realize they had a curse too.
Well, I don't know if the
just a bad
Indians
streak.
had a curse, but it was like the Cubs hadn't won it for like 100-something years, and the Cleveland hasn't won it for like 80-something years or so. Like it was like a drought is going to end tonight,
right?
Yeah, but just like when it's game 70 of 162 in mid-June, I'm like, who gives a shit?
100%. It's all about just going and having, peanuts and hot dogs.
Yeah, the dollar beer night, dollar glizzy night, something.
Glizzy. I know. It's so good. Anyway, I can see why you think this is like S tier movie. What is it for you? Like, what is it that just stands out for you as like why it's so good?
It is the perfect summer movie. Like the pace, it's not short.
It's like an hour and a half, right?
No, it's 220. That's the thing. It feels like 90 minutes.
Come on, it's a 20-minute movie, dude.
It is literally an episode of television. Like,
fucking kidding me?
No,
That's
it's as
wild.
long as Dune Part 1, basically. Maybe a little bit shorter.
Wow.
And that's the thing, is that when...
It cooks.
It cooks. Before you know it, you're kidnapping a pirate ship with Johnny Depp. And then the skeletons are revealed. And then you're at Tortuga. And then, you know, the Black Pearl is chasing down the Interceptor. And then the final fight...
How did they make a 2-hour movie feel like 30 minutes?
I don't know. But, like, and the acting is so good. Jeffrey Rush has no reason to be this locked in. But him, I understand, like, why they brought him back by the end of the second movie, because
They?
Oh yeah, he like comes back somehow. I forget how.
It doesn't matter. He's already.
Oh, you know what it is?
Yet.
Is that like at there's a post-credit scene where the monkey steals a coin. He steals one of the coins, and so I guess that's how he got brought back. Or I don't know. Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Oh my god! Like that's what. There's so much stupid. This is why you should never go on the Twitter For You page, is that people are mad at the Acolyte for there being like a fire in space in Star Wars. And I'm just like, have y'all ever fucking watched Star Wars before? There's a lot of fire and explosions and sound in space. And there's not in space. And then I saw a tweet.
When they tweet like that, they shouldn't be allowed to watch a Star Wars ever again.
No, they like Disney needs to reach out and just shadow ban their account.
Totally.
And I saw a tweet where it was about the new Assassin's Creed game that takes place during samurai times. And he's like, "Oh, look at this. The cherry blossoms are blooming, but the rice is also blooming. That's not right." I'm like, "Oh my God. Is this where we are in culture, where you care this much about the seasons of the weather and agriculture of Japan when you play a fucking Assassin's Creed game?" I might throw myself off a building.
Trigger warning. Yeah.
Like,
listen, if your whole life is agriculture, specifically in samurai times, and you know everything, and you are familiar with the almanac, and you know what bloomed, what didn't, and this is your time to shine, go ahead and tweet. Don't make me feel like an asshole for liking this game, but go, hey, here.
But don't act like that's the reason you're not going to play it.
It's unreal.
Don't act like this is like, oh my gosh, a game where you are plugged into like a portal and go back to your ancestors and become an assassin, and you can jump off of a 30-story building into a pile of hay and you're fine. Whoa. There's cherry blossoms and rice at the same time. Oh my God, fourth wall broken. Like, I just don't understand it. But going back to positive things.
Sure.
Like, I know the CGI of like the skeletons, it's dated. And that's okay.
It's not bad though. It's really not bad.
They did it exactly like Jurassic Park, where they did it only at night. Only, they made you can only see it with the moonlight. Perfect. And the scene where you find out that Jack is a skeleton and you see like Skellington. Yes, Jack Skellington. Deal with it. And they're sword fighting by the moonlight, and they're going in and out, and it's going between skeleton and actor is, I don't know, 20 years later, I don't know how you do it. And I don't want to know.
Because it's fast enough, and it's clever enough, and it's, and you know, I can't say that I didn't. I totally was trying to poke holes. I'm like, okay, it looks like CGI, guys, or whatever. It looks good.
There's a scene where he gets like kicked down and he goes in moonlight and shadow, and it's like, that took 4 months to animate.
That's half the budget, man. It really is.
It's so good. And like I say, funny I would, isn't it? All the time. Like
what is it?
He says funny old world, isn't it? Like
funny old world, isn't it?
Yeah, I say that all the time now. And just there's so many tiny lines that Jack Sparrow has in this movie. And I know Johnny Depp is a complicated figure. When it comes to this movie, I'm talking about Jack Sparrow. He is separate.
Well, I think we really do just have to go, like, sometimes our art our artists aren't the best people, but their art's good. And sure, we don't want to uphold them or whatever. But sometimes when you're as great as this, that can transcend as well.
Yeah.
Too. And also, no more power to you if you are gonna boycott everything he's ever done. By all means. But also just do that. You do that and let other people enjoy it.
And if you want to boycott post-trial, for sure. But I get pirates. I get, just this movie. Honestly, just this one pirate. I don't need the sequels. Yeah. I get pirates. I get I'll take Edward Scissorhands as well.
This made me really want to watch the Sweeney Todd. I never watched it. And
solid. I've only seen it once, but I remember enjoying it. And I'm sure people that are big fans of the Broadway musical probably have problems with it. They always do, but I don't care.
And if it's good, it's good. He is the big bad wolf in Into the Woods, and it's really bad.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Into the Woods is good, and that was the first time I had seen Into the Woods with like a light familiarity with some of the songs, just like a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And then I watched Into the Woods. You have Meryl Streep killing it, Emily Blunt killing it, James Corden unfortunately being there, and I know it's unfortunate.
With what Hollywood exec did James Corden get to be like, anytime there's a fucking musical, I'm in it?
The devil. He's made a deal with the devil. But Emily Blunt's fantastic, literally perfect. Yeah. And then you go see the musical, you're like, oh, okay, this is what it should be.
Yeah.
But they really do a great job. I thought so. But Johnny Depp was bad casting. Him as the big bad wolf. It's also like, it's gross. The big bad wolf is basically like a metaphor for raping a young woman. Like, it's not
good
great.
Lord.
Oh, yeah. But this is also Sondheim we're talking about, too. So the Into the Woods kind of lost some of its teeth because I do think it's Disney, and they kind of couldn't be like, although it is weird because she is an underage woman. Red Riding Hood is supposed to be played by an 18-year-old who is new, and they did it on stage, I should say.
Yeah.
They did a young actress, and Johnny Depp's like, "Hey, little girl," and
who plays Little Red Riding Hood?
Just an actress who's a really good singer. I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
They cast her well. They did do good casting, but
speaking of that, like when they get back on the ship. When they
look at you doing good segues. Good job.
See. Nah. When they blow up the interceptor and he's like, "Welcome back, Miss Swan. You took advantage of our hospitality last time. Now it's only time to return the favor." And he like throws her to the crew. Great. Like they cut away real quick to like Will Turner interrupting that, but that's a wild moment to have in a Disney movie.
Wild. Yeah, but they can't have a gay couple, but they could show that.
Didn't you see Josh Gad dance with a guy for less than 2 seconds?
And I've never seen another Disney movie since. Okay,
and like that was so inclusive. Like, God,
give Elsa a gay lover or I riot. That's all I'm saying,
dude. Like she's
so gay. She's so gay. She's so gay coded. And it's not about her. She's not a political statement. She just is. And let her be gay. Let her be gay.
Let her be gay. Like nothing will change
about
everyone's love for Elsa. I promise you.
No.
Promise you.
And it's so awesome that they didn't give her a love story up to this point because that's not what her growth pattern has been, right?
No.
The whole thing has been you don't need a man or person to complete you. She completes herself in the second movie. It's brilliant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember being in the theater for Frozen 2 and I didn't see Frozen until I remember I had a girl over and she wanted to watch Frozen because she had a sister and she really connected with it. And I was kind of, and to be honestly, it was after Let It Go had already been overplayed, even though, oh my God, what a banger of a song. It has been reclaimed in my life.
Right?
Oh no, I get it. It is
just the Gotcha song coming back, right? Kind of like we hated that song at a certain point.
No, things get overplayed for a reason because they're very catchy or they're legitimately good music. But like, I remember watching it and I was kind of like, I thought it was fine, and she got very mad. But then I remember like being in the theater, and Josh Gad showed up and like introduced the movie for us, so that was really fun. And then I was like, what what is happening right now? I am about to cry at Frozen 2. And I know there's like, flaws in the story, like whatever.
It's not perfect.
It's not perfect. No movie really is. But just like the animation was so crazy. The story, like the moment where it's especially like on an IMAX screen where it's just this huge shot of Anna crying alone in the cave and then do the next right thing. I was like, what is happening right now? And Into the Unknown is better than Let It Go. I will die on that hill.
It really is. It's genuinely a more complex and interesting song.
And it's like what they decided to do with Frozen 2, I will never understand how much. I was like, whoa, this is happening. And this is really good. And I
got to see it at the Alamo Draft House. And I didn't realize I was doing like this murder mystery thing in celebration for Knives Out, or the second one, or something. No, the first Knives Out.
One, yeah.
Yeah. And Ryan Johnson had just been there. I didn't know this. I know. But then because we were there doing this like event for them, they're like, here's, you want to watch a movie? And Frozen 2 was there. I was like, I'll fucking watch that movie. And with, their amazing popcorn in the tin bowl, I was crying. It was great. Yeah. And I related so much more to, I related to the first movie because of my sister too and all that. Like, yeah. But God, did I relate to Elsa this time around, and Anna, totally. Anyway, we love pirates. We got it. We figured it out. Orlando is wonderful. He's also got a documentary right now where he's like Orlando Bloom against the world. Like he's like going on like a travel climbing thing. So I kind of want to see if that's something we might want to watch. And just a reminder, we're like treading water in this series while we're waiting for Rings of Power to come about, which is really exciting. I also want you to share, you tweeted at Podcast of the Rings, but we didn't know War of the Rohirrim was an anime.
I didn't know that, and I cannot tell you how much more excited I am. Because I didn't there's so many different styles of animation, 3D, CGI, 2D, like all these different things. And it looks so it's one shot. I love it. I think it looks really good. I'm so excited for whatever the story's going to be. Like I knew I was going to watch it no matter what, but the hype is so real.
It couldn't be a better crossover for you, and I'm really interested to learn more from the creative's perspective to make this choice, and I'm looking forward to it. What are we going to watch next in this Fellowship series, and is it going to be Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
But you didn't we're ending the podcast. You haven't really even said how you feel about the movie. Not that I can think of. Like you said, you didn't remember it, and it didn't bode well for it, which. Passive aggressive much?
I'm just saying, sure.
But you didn't say, as you were watching it, what were your feelings on it?
Well, I thought I did say it did cook, right? It cooked. I'm amazed that I watched a 2-hour movie that felt like it was an hour and a half or whatever. Yeah. So I think I actually would watch it again. Let's put it that way. Because it is enjoyable. I want to catch the quips again, and I want to know it better. I will remember that I watched it more now because I did enjoy it this time around. And I'm making it sound like I didn't. I genuinely enjoyed the movie. I really did. I'm glad we watched. I was excited to do this thinking I hadn't seen it. And I was like, oh, I could watch a Pirates movie. You know what I mean? Like I knew I could. And I'm glad we did. And it was good. I just don't think it was groundbreaking or let me talk about how profound this film was. But I wasn't evading the question either. Jesus Christ. Make me the villain of the episode.
You are the villain of the podcast. We all decided this.
We know that. It's fucking true. I love Keira Knightley. Zoe Saldana, sadly underused, but really funny that she's there. Really good moments that they also let land, like when he's trying to get on the ship with the two guys that are no civilians or whatever. That goes on way too long, but it's good exposition.
But it's such good exposition, and this is what I'm talking about.
Meaningful exposition.
The two random soldiers, when they go onto the ship and they shake hands before they start fighting the skeletons, you're like, you know what? That's good stuff. I hope they make it.
I ship them. I really do.
We didn't even talk about Jonathan Pryce as the dad, who's so good.
He's so good, and
and Captain Norrington, who's an antagonist, but you see where he's coming from. Is it weird that he was a full-grown man with a child Elizabeth on his ship?
No,
and then
not in that time.
And now asked to marry her 10 years later?
Yes, it is.
Weird.
It is, weird. But not that era.
Not that era. But
you really have grown into a beautiful woman. Stop.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But just at least he's not a bad guy, right?
He's not a bad guy. And then if you ever watch the sequels, he's in the sequels as well. And he does.
As a good guy?
It's kind of the same thing where like they're always all betraying each other. They're all like the waters get a little murky and stuff like. And the last one is 3 hours long, and that one you do feel the length of it for sure.
Why?
I don't know, man. People defend, and it's very successful movie. But just like I don't know, there's highs and lows of the other two movies. There's mostly lows of the fourth and fifth one. They're not great. Because the fourth and fifth one don't have Will Turner, they don't have Orlando Bloom or Keira Knightley in it.
Oh, sure.
Which is tough because you need them. Like they definitely try to replace them with other people, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, I will say this: I'm going to cosplay as Keira Knightley in the bloomies and the jacket because that's an amazing outfit.
It's really good.
It's a great outfit. And I'm just sad we didn't get more of her swashbuckling. I wanted
get in the sequels. Watch the sequels.
I know it. And I will say it made me want to watch them to get them, but I want it in this. Because she's a fucking badass. Because they even say, you're crazy like he is.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Finish your point.
No, that's all. I'm just saying they allude to her being, as capable as Jack Sparrow, and I just wanted a little bit more of it. That's all.
But I think that they do a good job within, she's an I almost said Aristocat, because Disney, of course she's an Aristocat. I remember, it was like an episode of Boy Meets World, where why'd you invite the aristocrats over? And I was like, it's Aristocats, sir.
I know, even when the movie Aristocrat came out, I was like, what?
Yeah, you spelled that wrong? But the way she learns to, burn the rum for a signal. Very smart. The way she throws the boat at the skeletons. Very smart. I think within her life means where she's thrown into this thing of whoa, this is... Because, when she says, oh, you're the governor's daughter, that's why they're here. It's not, but she thinks it's about her, and she, kind of oversteps a little bit, and then it's oh, I realize what I'm in for. But even in that scene, the dinner scene, she grabs the knife. She's ready to kill Barbossa. She does kill Barbossa. He's just an undead, immortal skeleton curse being. So, but I like the line. It's oh, so after you killed me, what was your plan next? I love, just Jeffrey Rush is so good.
I know,
but yeah.
It's excellent casting. It's them, everyone at their best. And Disney just doing what they do so well, which is telling stories. And when Disney doesn't get in its way or money hungry, they can tell a good story. They really can. So I'm all in. I think it's great. I'm just kind of shocked that I forgot that I watched it, but I guess it really was 20 years ago almost, or over 20 years ago.
I remember I had that in 2019. I think I watched 300 new movies. And a lot, I think good handful of them were oh, I've seen a lot of this on TNT.
That happens too,
but
for sure.
I've never sat down. I think one of them was honestly Silence of the Lambs, where you see it all the time on TBS, but I've never sat down and watched this full uncensored movie.
Shawshank, I did that with.
Oh God, Shawshank owes all of its, I know it was nominated for 1 million Oscars,
sure.
but it owes 50% of its success to cable television.
Of course it does, but that's why it's on cable television too, right? Almost every Comedy Central movie is like that. So sometimes you just don't catch the whole thing. But Princess Bride, until I finally made myself sit down and watch the whole thing, I had never watched it all the way through from the beginning to end. You know what I mean?
Great movie.
Also great.
Anytime I watch that movie, I'll never understand how, you asked Orlando Bloom, I'll never understand how Carrie Elwes isn't a household name.
I know.
How he at least didn't have 5 years, a 5-year run of this is the guy.
He did, though, because he ended up doing Robin Hood Men in Tights. And then he was in Glory with Denzel.
Yeah, but he's
so he kind of had a similar Orlando.
That.
No, I know, but he kind of had an Orlando trajectory.
You think of him. no one thinks of him when they think of glory. They think of Denzel winning his Oscar. They think of Matthew Broderick being terrible, and then they think of Morgan Freeman, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, Cary Elwes wasn't that as like the fourth white guy."
I know. I just think of I just forget that he also tried. They tried with him. You know what I mean?
They definitely tried. It's just so crazy how dashing and gorgeous and charming he is in that movie, and just like it's so good.
You could recast and redo Princess Bride. I wouldn't suggest it, but you could do it with Orlando.
I think I had an old recasting from 2015 where I think I made Henry Cavill as Wesley.
Really?
This was right after Superman, so maybe it was 2013, 2014. It was Henry Cavill as Wesley. I think I had Daisy Ridley as Princess Buttercup.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think I had Rory McCann, which is the Hound, which is if you started watching Game of Thrones, as Andre the Giant. I think I had Pedro Pascal from Game of Thrones. Early Pedro Pascal as Inigo Montoya. Which he could still do it, but
chef's kiss.
When you get to Oberyn in Game of Thrones, you'll see what I mean, because oh my gosh, he is thin, he's wiry, he's got his spear. Oh, he's so hot. Who did I had? I think I had Key and Peele as the Billy Crystal character, the Max the Magician. I think that would have been really funny.
That was brilliant. Very good.
I can't remember who I had as the Wallace Shawn character. I can't remember Wallace Shawn or Humperdinck. I can't remember who that was, but I had Jacob Tremblay as the kid, as the Fred Savage. Is it Fred Savage or Ben Savage in the movie? I can never remember.
Ben Savage.
It's Ben. Okay. But I had.
No, it's Fred Savage. Fred Savage.
I can't. It was lost in the notes on. Let me see if I still have it. Honestly,
we'll have to find it. It's pretty great. You actually should go onto my friend Sam's podcast where he does Ideal Remake, where you basically go on and you recast a movie that you think should be remade and with whom. So, and what plot points would you change? What did we do? I don't remember now, but I know it was with a bunch of kids because kids were slim pickings at that point, and everyone was always, I don't remember what it was. Anyway, you'll find that. You'll share it online. You folks that are watching or listening to us, join us on Patreon. You could be like our member at the $10 tier, Jesse Glaspie. I can never say his name right, which is just not fair to him at all. But Arsenal Roy 2K, who's our Patreon subscriber at the $10 tier, even at just $5 a month, you get easy access, early exclusive access to our House of the Dragons podcast, which it's premiering soon.
Yeah, we gotta catch up with our season 1 recap.
We will, and we shall. I think let's do Eternal Sunshine. Have you seen it before?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, not a huge role for Elijah Wood, although I could also watch North. I could be convinced to watch North instead.
I was thinking Sin City or something, but we'll discuss it. But next week we're going to do Elijah Wood. So if you guys have any suggestions for Elijah Wood's best non-Lord of the Rings movie, he's got a good handful.
We'll do a poll. And he's got a new one coming out that's also in New Zealand too.
Ooh. I don't know if you've watched it on Netflix, but I don't feel at home at this world anymore. It's him and... she's 2.5 Men. She's in Yellow Jacket. Monica.
Yes, the one people who are so mean to her about her weight.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's her and Elijah Wood. Great movie.
Because they're also in Yellow Jackets together too, right? Because
is he in Yellow Jackets? I didn't know that.
I think so.
I watched the first 5 episodes, and then I kind of fell off of that.
I have a feeling he is. Anyway, this was fun. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. This is how I'll watch movies, because I have to. But that's an easy ask. You know what I mean? So that's really great. Anything else we need to tell our friends? If you're listening,
give us a 5-star review if you can. Like the video if you can. Subscribe on YouTube if you can. The YouTube is JLV Podcasts. I had to look that up as well.
That's fair.
Make sure we tell people.
That's fair.
But yeah, we're hitting it from all angles over here, guys. But I'm really excited to do this in between. We're watching Dragons. We'll be doing that weekly. And then I going back and seeing what other movies this fellowship has to offer, because it's tough to do such a monumental trilogy like this and then be like, oh yeah, I still have to work for the rest of my life, so what do I do next? And I think that all of these guys did a great job of doing that.
If you haven't yet watched the Ricky Gervais show Extras with Orlando Bloom's episode, do yourself a favor, watch that. It's very funny.
And who knows, we might watch Armageddon just to get some more Liv Tyler.
We may actually have. She's an honorary fellowshipian.
She really is.
This is the summer of Ben and Jess, I think.
I love it.
Churning out some content. Let's go.
Let's go.
And until we meet again.
And really bad eggs.
Fuck, dude. Ugh. Goodbye.